Okay, so we are continuing with our reading of translations of 10th chapter. Please continue.
The sense perception are created in the third creation, and from these the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity.
Okay, next.
The fifth creation.
The fifth creation is that of controlling deities by interaction of the modes of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of living entity by which the master acts as a fool.
The material. All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now here talking about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the Lord Factor, and who is in the matter of creation as a brain like the Supreme Personality of God.
So he has Harimedasa. You need something.
Is it the HDMI cable up now?
Huh?
What's happening?
The seventh creation is that of the immovable entity.
So after sixth creation, it is called Prakrita, and that is created by the Lord. The seventh creation onwards, it is called Vaikrita, and that is created by Brahma. Prakrita means natural creation. Vaikrita means secondary creation. So the seventh creation onwards is called Vaikrita. This is the creation by the Lord. Okay, please read.
The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are the of six kind and fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, grapes, plant, grapes which have no support, and trees with the flowers and fruit.
Okay, next.
All the immovable trees and plants seek their subsistence of words. They are almost unconscious but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegated.
So many years back, many thousands of years back, Bhagavatam actually declared that the plants have lives. But very recently, there were Indian scientists. Very recently means about 100 years back, there was an Indian scientist named Jagadish Chandra Bose. He got Nobel Prize for finding out that plant has life. But thousands of years back, it is clearly mentioned here that plants have lives. They are almost unconscious but have feelings of pain. Okay. Yeah. Next.
The eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensive, foolish, and ignorant. They know that desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart.
So this is the animal species. Okay.
Of purest of the lower animals, the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna, stag, hog, gavaya, animal, deer, lamb, and camel all have cloven hooves.
Okay.
The horse, mule, ass, gaura, saraba, bison, and wild cow all have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about the animals who have 5 nails.
So in every system there is some classification of animals. Even in modern science, there is classification of plants and animals in terms of phylum, in terms of class, and phylum Arthropoda, phylum Annelida, phylum this, phylum that, and then even the plants, they have a certain class name and then a specific name, all these things. So here also we are seeing some sort of classification, but this is classification after Vedic science. Okay.
The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajaru, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, goshawk, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchanakhas, or animals having 5 nails.
Okay, next.
The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, vasa, baluka, peacock, swan, sarasa, chakravaka, crow, owl, and others are the birds.
Okay.
The creation of a human being who are of one species only the who stop their edibles in the belly is the 9 in the rotations. In human race, the mood of passion is very permanent. Humans are always busy in the midst of the miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all the time.
Oh, good Vidura. These last three creation and the creation of demigods, 10th creation, are Vaikrita creations, which are different from the previously described Prakrita, natural creation. The appearance of the Kumaras is both.
Means Kumaras are both Prakrita and Vaikrita. Okay.
The creation of the demigods is of 8 varieties. The demigods, the forefathers, the asuras or demons, the Gandharvas and Apsaras or angels, the yakshas and rakshasas, the siddhas, janaras, and vidyadoras, the bhutas, pretas, and vicharas, and the superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. are all created by Brahma, the creator of the universe.
Sorry, Prabhuji, why the demigods, it is said all of it is demigods?
Yeah.
But then demigod is separate also.
Yeah, the demigod is 33 crore category, 33 crore demigods, but all of them belong to the demigod category.
Now I shall describe the descendants of the Manu, the creator Brahma, as the incarnation of the passion mode of the personality of God. It creates the universal affairs with unfailing desires in every millennium by the force of Lord's energy.
Okay. That brings us to the end of 10th chapter. So we will read some purports, 10th chapter, and then we will go to 11th chapter. Today we hope to finish 10th and 11th and get into 12th and see the auspicious appearance of Lord Shiva. In the 12th chapter he will appear. Please read.
Such enquiries, when replied to with imaginative answers by the teacher, are a program for wasting time.
So, most of the science is, there are 2 points of science. One, there is observational science, which is mostly true, and there is speculative science, which is mostly waste of time. Observational science consists of laws of physics, laws of chemistry, laws of mathematics, geometry, trigonometry, laws of astronomy, all these things. These are all observatory. You just observe and then you calculate something, and this is what it is. But there are other things like theoretical physics, like quantum physics, and so many other things which are mostly speculative. They are thinking it may be like this, maybe like that, maybe like this, maybe like that. Like Darwin's theory. Darwin himself says this theory. And there is Mendel's theory of genetic order. So all these things are more speculative, but the problem is that modern education packages all of them together. They don't separate speculative science from observational science. They package everything together and they present everything as fact. But speculative science is changing, and the more they are able to speculate better, they keep changing the speculative science. So therefore Prabhupada says that the imaginative answers by teacher are just simply a program for wasting time. This is also how a guru should be selected. The guru should be selected by actually seeing that how much he confirms to Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. He should be selected by seeing how much he confirms to Shastra. So a guru is the one who does not waste time in speculating, thinking that, oh, this may be like this, that may be like that, this may be like this. He simply quotes Shastra. And we can see that there are many grave conversations happening in Bhagavatam, and those conversations are about very deep subject matters like creation, cosmic manifestation, all these things. And all these conversations, what do you see?
I have heard it from my spiritual master.
That's it. All these conversations are going back to conversations between authorities. Like when Narada speaks to Vyasa, he quotes the conversation between Brahma and him. And when Brahma speaks to Narada, he quotes the conversation between him and the
Lord.
Supreme Lord. So, there is nothing imaginative or speculative saying that, oh, this could be like this, or oh, that could be like that. Nothing like that. So then everything becomes very easy. Okay, please read.
There is no retirement from such service which is eternal and ever encouraging.
Yeah, there's no retirement from devotional service, and there's also no resignation. Once I wanted to resign from my service, so I told my spiritual master, who is also my managing authority, I told him that I want to resign from my service. Then he looked at me, and then he said, "You can't resign, but you can be kicked out." No, he said that till you get kicked out, you should wait. I said, "Okay, good. I'll wait to get kicked out." So, then I got kicked out. Then my spiritual master told me, "Why don't you continue in this service?" I said, "Guru Maharaj, you told me I should not resign. I should wait to get kicked out. I got kicked out. So I have right not to continue my service." He said, "Okay." So, but there's no retirement. That was also a very interesting conversation in Mayapur management once. We have a fund called the Grahastha Retirement Benefit Fund. And there's some money lying there. It's meant for retired full-time Grahasthas. Now, the question came up that who is a retired full-time Grahastha? And nobody wants to accept that I am a retired Grahastha. Nobody wanted to accept that I am a retired Grahastha. Everyone is saying, how we will retire? There is no retirement from devotional service. So at least we will do something till we die. So we may not do some very active service, do so many things, but we will do something till we die. We are not going to retire. So then there was some serious discussion that we should change the name of the fund. So sometimes these things are really nice discussions. Nobody wanted to retire. Okay. Please read.
The material world is called illusory because it is a place of forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. Thus, one engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the material world may sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. There is a declaration of war between the two parties, the illusory energy and the devotee, and sometimes the weak devotees fall victim to the onslaught of the powerful illusory energy.
Yes, sometimes this happens. That because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the mama maya duratyaya, my maya, is very, very difficult to overcome. And because of that, sometimes a devotee who is not very strong, he may fall victim to illusory energy. In an army, when a soldier is injured in war front, what do?
They bring it to camp.
They abandon that guy. Choro, let him die. Anyway, he's injured, useless guy. He cannot fight anymore.
Sometimes.
Do they leave him like that?
No,
Sometimes they continue the war and sometimes.
They make sure that they risk their life to bring him back to the camp. And so he can get some treatment and he can be all right. We should have the same spirit because we are also in war field. And sometimes devotees may fall down. And we should not, of course, it depends on different circumstances of the fall down. That there are two approaches. One is an institutional approach. If the devotee goes through some difficulty, then based on the nature of the difficulty, the institution may have to take some action. And it is unavoidable because we are a preaching institution and we cannot allow the preaching to be damaged. So we have to take some action based on the nature of the fall down of a devotee. We may have to restrict the devotee from mixing with others. We may have to put some restrictions on the devotee. We may have to protect others from the association of the devotee. All those things we may have to do institutionally. It's all right. It's all to be done. It's all very important. But at the same time, we should never write off any devotee. That's very, very important. If it is within our personal capacity and if it is possible for us to help, should definitely help. Should definitely help. We should not think that any devotee is finished. He may be worst kind of devotee, or he may be doing something minor mistake. But we should never think that any devotee is finished. At the least, we should pray for the reformation of such devotees. We should pray to the Lord that let them become all right and let them continue their Krishna consciousness. And we should also pray to the Lord that we should not become victim of Maya. So, sometimes it may be very difficult. But institutionally, whatever action we need to take, that is to be taken, especially if you are in a position to take some action. Then institutionally, whatever action needs to be taken, we should take, because as an institution, we are accountable to the members of the institution. We need to be accountable. We cannot forego that accountability.
Can I ask?
Yes, please.
Means how, like, if somebody is on the position, like institution position,
Mm.
how he will do the personal care, because he will be seeing the first part, because he cannot be in both parts. Like if he has to restrict him, so he has to restrict him. We cannot go in another way also to take, give some help.
Not necessarily. He may take institutional action to restrict him. But we are not so impersonal that some institutional action and then some personal relationship is not there. If there is a personal relationship, he can utilize the personal relationship to help that person in a way which does not contradict with the institutional action. It's possible.
Because sometimes as a new devotee training, I have to remove someone,
Mm.
and this, I cannot take it back. And until unless I take it back, he cannot be in the brahmacharyas.
Correct, but that doesn't mean that the only way to take care of him is to put him in the brahmacharya ashram.
No, I'm not saying, it's like, he just joined, like he just came. Now he is not mixed with others so much. So he may not be mixing with others, he may again go back. And
That's true, but he came from some place, right? He didn't come from sky. He came from some place in Bengal. In case of Mayapur, he came from some place in Bengal. So he could be connected to the Namahatta preaching there. We could always say somebody to take care of him. That anyway this guy came, that means he has some interest in Krishna consciousness. But he is unable to live brahmachari life. That's the point. Your domain is brahmachari training. Okay. So he is not fitting into that domain. He is unable to live that kind of life. But that doesn't mean that he cannot chant Hare Krishna. So if he comes from a particular place, you can always see that if you can connect him to Namahatta of that place, or if there is some Gita course there, or some other type of preaching which is going on, you can always see how you can connect him to the devotees there, and if he is interested, he will just at least practice Krishna consciousness.
so I should be informing that authority about the incidents over here or not?
Yeah, of course. Of course, you should inform. Suppose he steals some money, for example, I'm saying. Okay. You should tell him that this guy has a tendency to steal money. Don't give him responsibility which is connected to money, because then he will steal. But in general, he can be utilized for some service, or he can do something like that. Suppose he has some abusive tendency, then we should be more careful. Then we should actually tell them that even if he comes, you keep him away, because he has some abusive tendency. He may tend to utilize the circumstance and abuse somebody. Then the best thing for them is to keep them away. So that also we should do. Depending on the different cases, like you may find someone who comes and joins, but he just cannot take the rigor of the training. It doesn't have anything bad, but he just can't take the rigor of the training. Like, brahmachari training is quite, especially New Bhakta training is quite rigorous. So he may not be able to take the rigor of the training, the intensity of the training. but he has some interest in Krishna consciousness. So such people should be connected to some other way where they can grow in Krishna consciousness. Somebody may go through training, but he may show some bad habit, due to which he may have to be removed. So you may still try to connect him to somebody, but you should tell them about his bad habit, so they can be aware and they can take care of his situation. Somebody may be abusive in nature and he is not fit to be in assembly of devotees at this point of time. So then you should also tell that to those people there from where he comes, because he may go to them and he may present himself as, oh, I got trained in Mayapur, but due to some family circumstance I came. And then he may try to mingle with devotees and then abuse somebody there. So then you should also tell those people that, this person came from so and so place, and then he has some problems. He is not fit to move with the assembly of devotees. So you should inform, so that people know and they are aware. They can, if he comes, they can take it. Okay, please read.
Lord Brahma struggled for the essence in the personal example of the continuing fight between the living entity in the material world and the illusory energy called Maya. By the advanced knowledge in the science and transcendental realizations, one can try to control the material energy which works again in our endeavors. And in the modern age, advanced material scientific knowledge and penance have played very wonderful roles in controlling the power of the material energy. Living transcendental service.
Okay, such control of material energy, however, can be most successfully carried out. The soul is surrendered to Supreme Personality of Gauriya and carries out his orders in the spirit of loving transcendental service. So, we see that Brahma's life is also not very smooth, even though Brahma is the most powerful living entity in the creation. But his life is also not very smooth. He is born, he forgets who he is, then he has to do some tapasya, then he finds out, he gets instruction from the Lord, then he has to again do tapasya, and then again he has to drink water, he has to drink the air. So there's so much of endeavor for Brahma also. It's not like, and also you will see in the next chapter that he has further endeavors. So it's not, life for anybody is not easy in this material world. When the living entity takes up material body, then he has made a mistake. This should be clearly understood. Many times we tend to think that what comes to the body and what comes to the mind is the problem. We tend to think like this. Like, I am sick, so I am in problem. Or I have some mental tension, so I am in problem. So many times we think that what comes to the body is the problem. This is the biggest misconception we have. What comes to the body is not a problem. The body itself is the problem. The living entity, the soul, he should not have accepted a material body. The fellow accepted the material body, that is the problem. Rest of all the problems are simply consequence of that primary problem. Most of the time we try to not to solve that primary problem, we try to focus on the secondary problems, like my health is not good, my mind is not disturbed, my mind is disturbed, my health is not good, this is not. So we think that by solving the secondary problem, our problem will get solved. This is the illusion. Our problem will never get solved by solving the secondary problem. We should solve the primary problem. What is the primary problem? The soul should not have accepted a material body. That we should always remember. Sometimes we also get bewildered. Oh, it is happening, this is happening to me, that is happening to me. Oh, this fellow is responsible, oh, that fellow is responsible. Nobody is responsible. We are only responsible. Why? We accepted material body. We are a spirit soul, a Satchidananda Vigraha. We accepted this material body is exactly opposite to our nature. Asat, Achit, Nirananda, Nirvigraha. And then we are thinking that by adjusting it, we can be happy. We can never be happy. It's a simple thing.
So we should look for solutions.
We should look for spiritual solution to material problem.
So health not well, what is the spiritual solution?
It's health not well. You take medicine. Okay? But at the same time, you remember what the Kulashekara is telling, King Kulashekara is telling. What is that? Idam shariram parinama peshalam satasanti jarjaram patati avasyam kim aushadam prachasi muda durmate niramayam krishna rasayanam piba. He is saying this body, idam shariram parinama peshalam, is simply an object of change. Parinama peshalam. We already discussed this, no? That we get bewildered by the change of body. Parinama peshalam. And what is the end of this body? Patati avasyam. One day it will fall down. And before falling down, what will happen? Satasanti jarjaram. Means that there are hundreds of joints in this body. These joints will start shaking. Satasanti jarjaram. They will all start shaking. Then he is asking, in order to stop this, what medicine you are going to take? Kim aushadam prachasi. What medicine you will take to stop this death and old age? Kim aushadam prachasi. Muda durmate, stupid mind. Kim aushadam prachasi. So niramayam. In Ayurveda, there is a concept called ama. Ama means the poison within the body. The poison within the body. That poison within the body has to be removed by adjusting the kapha, vata and pitta. This is called, in English we call it very stylily as detox. So they say we go for Ayurvedic detox. Detoxification. What is that? Removal of ama. So Kulashekara is telling niramayam. There is no material poison in one medicine, rasayana. There is one rasayana which has no material poison and which can remove that material poison. Niramayam, the real detox. What is that? Krishna rasayanam piba. You simply drink the holy name of Krishna. You simply drink. So the body may get sick. We may take medicine. But we should also remember this instruction of King Kulashekara, that the problem of this body cannot be solved by taking medicine. Temporarily we can solve this problem of the body by taking medicine. But if you really want to solve the problem of the body, we should take, Bhagavatam calls it bhava aushadhi, the medicine which will cure the material disease. What is the bhava aushadhi? Bhava aushadhi, according to Bhagavatam, is hearing and chanting about Krishna. That's called bhava aushadhi. You should take that also.
When we are not well, then we are not able to invest.
Yeah, but that is the time we should invest. Like, one doctor came to me. Okay, he is my friend. We were having some discussion, and that doctor wanted to get initiated. Okay, I told him that if you want to get initiated, you read this book, because my spiritual master has so many recommendations that these books are to be read before initiation. You have to write some exam and all those things. Different system is there. So I explained the entire system to him, and I told him, you do all this, you can get initiated. He said,